With the offseason coming to a close and the roster more or less in the stages of being finalized, it is time to do some evaluations. What's up, everybody? It is JJ Buckets, and today is going to be a fun video. I think it's going to be an interesting video in my opinion. Well, of course, in my opinion, it would be interesting. I'm the one making it. I find myself interesting personally. Anywho, the video today, I'm gonna look at one thing that based off, both the previous season and some of the additions made, or I guess lack thereof, that will both be a strong factor for this team moving forward, and one that is gonna be potentially lacking and derailing to the upcoming campaign. That being said, there's only one thing to cover before we hop into the video. If you like this video, just make sure to hit that like button. It goes such a huge way. I say it every video, but it really does. So please make sure you're hitting that button. And if you like what you watched today, just hit subscribe so that way you'll never miss a video. Something that I feel like I have been fairly vocal about, over my time of just doing YouTube is, the value of spacing, the value of having shooters on the court to spread out the defenders, to give your effective players at the rim easier looks and such. That's something I feel like I've been very vocal about, and I do believe there has been a focus from the Raptors, to at least some extent, on that in this offseason. So two additions that I really like, one that I've always talked about but never feel like I've gone into full depth with, is Otto Porter Jr. I think I really do like that add. Otto Porter Jr. is somebody that is really, I think, going to pop into a lot of lineups for the Raptors, going to get some good effective minutes, and he's going to be somebody that's able to space the court, for guys like OG, for guys like Scotty Barnes, for guys like Pascal Siakam that like getting their shots at the rim, that, have effective field goal percentages for the most part, near the rim. He's been a really good ad. And another ad that, again, is a sneaky good one because I don't feel like I hear that many people talking about it, but I do think he has a chance to be a part of some lineups for the Raptors and a chance to be an effective part of those lineups. It's Juancho Hernangomez. Yes, Mr. Bo Cruz himself. So the thing that I in particular really like about this, so according to Cleaning the Glass, first of all, Juancho ranks in the 92nd percentile of three-point shooting last season. So that is, again, that's your spacing, that is your shooting, that is going to open up looks for your OG, for your Pascal Siakam, for Scotty Barnes, But on top of that, what I think is interesting about this, and shout out to, I forget the name, but shout out to the dude on the last video in the comment section that told me he wanted to see more advanced stats, because I sat there and I'm just like, you want to see more advanced stats? I'll give you a few more advanced stats. The thing that I find really interesting is the effectiveness of both Otto and Juancho's game when it comes to shooting the ball, and where they in particular are their best three-point shooting, how do I phrase this? Where they're most effective as a three-point shooter, because for Juancho, it's the corner in particular where he finds the most effectiveness as a three-point shooter. If I'm not mistaken, I want to say he ranks in the 88th percentile in that regard. And for Otto Porter Jr., it's actually the opposite. It's non-corner threes that he is most effective on, where he ranks in the 87th percentile. So with that in mind, you kind of get that good contrast where if you're bringing those guys into the lineup, and hell, like let's say you even have both of them in the lineup at the same time, they can be stretching out, in different spots on the court. They're not really going to get in each other's way. And again, you're going to open up these driving lanes for your effective slashers, and it's just going to make the offense easier. So I really do like the focus there, and even in particular, you can mesh these guys, in particular these two, with your other three-point shooters like an OG or whatnot, and again, like put these guys in all these different spots that are just going to be effective for everybody on the court and just make the offense a little more seamless. I really do like some of the ads there. They might seem minor by comparison to some of the big splash trades that we have seen across the league this offseason, but ultimately I think they are ones that can really pay dividends for this team. The thing that still concerns me about this team though, and might be a broken, what's the expression? Broken radio at this point, playing the same tune, but you know what? I think it's one that matters. It's the half-court offense. So, first things first, the Raptors, surprisingly, according to NBA.com, had one of the slowest paces in the league last season. They ranked 27th amongst all teams in terms of pace per play. So naturally, when you're going to play that slowly, you're going to end up, I'd say, in a decent amount of half-court sets. And how are the Raptors in the half-court? Not good. Similarly to their bottoming out ranking, you know what I mean, that's worded really weirdly, but you know what I mean. They're bad. They are 26th in the league according to cleaningtheglass.com. They are not a good half-court team, and when you look at some of the individuals there, like, you can kind of understand why. So when I was looking at the points per play with the on-off numbers in terms of who really boosts up the half-court sets, only Pascal Siakam, which, you know, shouldn't be that surprising, was, I believe, in the 92nd percentile, and Gary Trent Jr. is somewhat surprisingly, I guess, he was actually in the 90th percentile as well for that same category. Past that though, like, they don't have a lot of effective half-court players. Those are the only two guys that when they're coming in, like, they're effectively boosting the half-court offense, or when they're obviously on the court versus off the court. So you still look at that and you're still, in my opinion, quite concerned that they don't have that guy in the half court, which, not the biggest. Here's the thing with that, right? Like, it's one of those things where you sit there and the simple thing that you're gonna sit there saying is, well, somebody needs to step up. Somebody needs to develop that aspect to their game. Somebody needs to get better at that. So they have, you know, somebody that can just take over in the half court. I don't think Siakam's far off from that based on, you know, the advanced numbers here and just, you know, based on watching. Like, he is somebody that's effective in the half court. But to an extent, I feel like I've said it time and time again, I think Siakam is somebody that would be best if he was complementing somebody. Not to say he can't do it, you know, effectively by himself as the number one option. I think he can, for sure. But he definitely needs at least somebody from the Raptors to take a fairly reasonable sized jump, I would say, in that regard, to kind of be near that same level with him at the least, you know, like, whether you think that guy is Scotty Barnes and, you know, you're anticipating a big second-year leap from last year's Rookie of the Year, whether or not you think with an improved handle that was somewhat, I would say, visible in the some of the off-season workout videos and such with the Rico Hines runs, whether you think that's OG, you know, that could also be a possibility. If he can, you know, improve his creation, improve his effectiveness in the half court, I think that goes a long way for improving this rating overall for the team and for Pascal, again, to be even more effective with that proper secondary complement, I guess. One way or another, somebody really needs to fill that role. What I do find interesting for this upcoming season, they've talked about it a little bit, but the idea of seeing Scotty Barnes with more looks as the point guard, what I do find cool about that is I think it opens up the offensive game a little bit more. Say, in particular in my head, you know, Fred VanVleet, for as good of a floor general as he is and as good of a point guard as he is, you know, if you're asking him to do that all of the time, maybe not all of the time, but if you're asking him to do that the majority of the time, you're really taking away one of the things that he can be most effective as too, which is, you know, just a really good catch and shoot player, right? So I think potentially putting the ball in Scotty's hands a little bit more and letting him play like de facto point guard could be an interesting development in this offense that improves their half-court looks and their half-court schemes. But this obviously will only be a time will tell type of thing, but as of now, that is still something that I think you look at and you're mildly concerned about, that if that doesn't improve and if you don't see, you know, somebody really take a leap in that regard, you're gonna face a lot of the same issues that, you know, effectively ended your campaign last season, and you won't see progression from the Raptors. But if you do see somebody with that leap in that regard, could be a fun year. Could be funnier. So that is me for the day. What do you folks think? How do you feel about some of the additions to the roster? And how do you feel about the roster as a whole? Do you feel like, the boosts in shooting will really help? Are you still concerned about the half-court offense? What do you folks think? Drop it in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts. Besides for that, to reiterate just one more time, you know the usual drill. If you're still watching this, like this video. Like, if you've gotten this far, you like this video. And if you're new here, subscribe to the channel as well. Every sub is much appreciated, and I would love having you back to watch more videos in the future. It's been JJ Buckets. It's been a real one, and I will see everybody next time.